Hi guys, it's Maya here, and today I'm doing another controversial video on whether or not
straight guys like trans girls,
or whether or not the guys who are with trans girls are considered gay, or whatever labels you want to call it. As a trans woman myself, I have a lot of experience on this topic, a lot of my own personal testimonies to share, and just my thoughts and opinions on this. Obviously, a lot of these labels can be subjective, and I think the biggest message here is that we should never be placing labels on people or saying what someone else's relationship is, because we don't know the finer workings of it, and who are we to judge and make labels for people, you know? Like, why does it matter so much? Why don't you let people be who they want to be in relationships they want to be in, and love who they want to love. So anyways, I'm going to talk about some finer details and kind of go into the psyche of dating as a trans woman and just explore what it means to be in a relationship with cisgender men. First and foremost, there is a kind of misconception that trans women are so much different from biological women, and any man who is attracted to them is not straight, at least not 100% straight. And I kind of agree with the 100% straight thing, because I don't really think anyone is 100% straight. But aside from that, what I do have to say is that straight men cannot always tell whether or not someone is transgender. So you can have a surface level attraction to trans women without knowing that they're trans. And I've experienced this when I was a little bit more in my wilder days, going out partying, going to frat parties, going to homecomings, going to clubs and bars and stuff. And yeah, so back in those days, I would go to these parties with friends and I would just kind of blend in. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but you would inevitably get attention from guys. And these guys did not see me as a man. They did not see me as a trans woman, because physically there is very little, if anything, that could differentiate me. There are cisgender women who have deeper voices. There are cisgender women who are taller than me, stronger, bigger, anything. It's such a diverse world we live in. And men aren't attracted to people because of their chromosomes. They don't just walk up to women and go,
what do you smell? Man flesh.
You know what I mean? Like, no one knows what your chromosomes are, and there's just so many diverse trans women out there, you may never know whether or not they are trans. So because of that, I would say that yes, straight men who are attracted to women on the feminine spectrum can be attracted to trans women. Just on like a scientific level, they are aroused by trans women. So with that in mind, I would say yes, self-identified straight men can be attracted to trans women. Like, I've had my fair share of experiences of advances from people on sports teams, from the most macho people to more feminine men. Like, the spectrum varies, and most of them all identified as straight. Some of them may be bisexual, some of them may be figuring stuff out, who knows? But it's largely in the straight department, because when you look at someone like me, you don't assume that a gay man would be into someone who looks and acts like a woman. So it just kind of has that contrast, right? Like, how would that make any sense? I think a lot of the issue here is that people see trans women as imitations or performance for biological women. Like, we aren't real, you know what I mean? And it's very derogatory to think of that, to think of us that way. My sentiment is that we are just being ourselves. Transitioning is not something to attain a certain look or a certain lifestyle. Transitioning is to allow us to express ourselves. I always wanted to have long hair growing up. I always wanted to wear these clothes and be able to talk how I naturally talk, which is like this, a little bit more up and down, a little bit more feminine. And if you're a woman and you don't do any of these things, that's fine too. But it was all about freedom of expression, and through the label of trans, I was able to convey that to people. This is why I am this way. This is why I want to express myself this way. And it has nothing to do with attaining a perfect standard of being a woman. Lots of trans women don't want to be feminine, but they still identify as women. Another thing I want to touch on is obviously there are some differences, but the main difference that people seem to hone in on is what's between our legs. And let me tell you, there is lots of guys who can overlook that. It's not the most important feature. It's not what guys ultimately like in a long-term relationship. It's all about the person. It's all about, you know, who you are, and that is just an added extra, you know? Obviously, there are people who are going to be attracted based on genitals, and I don't care. Like, you do you. Like, no one is forcing anyone to date or like trans people. That is not the point of this video, but I'm just saying that there is alternatives, especially if you like want to look at things more sexually. You can still be a submissive partner as a trans woman. Like, it doesn't make anyone gay, you know? Like, people will have anal with biological women. They'll have anal with trans women. Is one gay and one not gay? Like, how do you make that sense, you know? It's really not. And then there's lots of trans women who also have had the surgery. So it all depends on perception, right? And I feel like a lot of the people who say the comments like, it's gay if you like trans women, they are a bit ignorant to the situation. They probably haven't been in a relationship with a trans woman, and they just have this stigma in their mind about how a trans woman is just an imitation, is really a man in a wig or a drag or cross-dressing, and they're very different things. Unfortunately, there is a lot of negative attention around men who date trans women. They are perceived as gay, they're looked down upon, their friends make fun of them. There is a lot of negative energy around that, and that stems from male masculinity standards. It stems from women being like, oh my god, like my boyfriend's dated a trans woman, he must be gay. And those kind of ideas are very, very harmful towards not only trans relationships, but towards the men themselves. Like, honestly, it's very sad that they feel like they can't express themselves because they will be met with so much discrimination based on who they're seeing and dating. So it's really sad that that's the way things are right now. Hopefully people will become more relaxed in the future and things won't be that way. Like, I'm talking like I would go on dating apps and guys would express interest to me privately, like well-known guys in real estate or more like public figure guys, and it's like only in a discreet kind of way, you know? And it's because society doesn't allow them the freedom to express that without being met with so much judgment. So it all stems from judgment as well. A lot of the people that you might perceive as straight men, they might be attracted to trans women, you know? Like, you might be attracted to a trans woman and not know that they're trans. It's all about perspective. And yeah, you can argue, I'm only attracted to people because I want to have biological children with them, but that's not really the way that attraction works in animals and in science. Animals don't have the instinct to say, I want to reproduce, like that's my main goal, I'm only attracted to people I want to reproduce with. If that were the case, then people would not be having sex for pleasure, you know? So to say that you are not attracted to trans women because they can't have children is a little bit of a catch-22, you know? But either way, my final advice is that I want, or I hope, society can move in a place where we no longer care about labeling people. Like, so what if you want to call yourself bisexual because you're dating a trans woman? So what if you want to call your friend gay because they're with a trans woman? Like, ultimately you want to respect what they think their relationship is, but like, I want to live in a world where these labels don't matter, you know? Like, it shouldn't be a big deal. Like, whether or not you see someone as gay or straight dating a trans woman, who cares? Why does it matter? Does it affect you? Probably not. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you have any more you want to add to the discussion, just leave some comments down below. Remember to please be respectful and to share your thoughts and opinions in a informative, lighthearted, kind way and not be aggressive. If you guys are interested in following me on social media, I have Instagram I have Twitter, I have everything. All the links are down below. And feel free to hit that thumbs up button if you like this content, and subscribe and hit that bell notification button, because we all know YouTube's algorithm is not a fan of trans content creators. So, I mean, I don't even know if this video will be monetized. We'll see. Fingers crossed, because 50% of my recent ones haven't been. But yeah, anyways, that's a whole other battle. But I will talk to you guys soon. I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, I like having these discussions. I feel like it's a little bit philosophical, and it's kind of like an open-ended conversation to have with you guys. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.